This is a real deep dive into the strategic plan. So if you were thinking you were going to come kind of get a cursory summation of some things and be out and on your way, I hate to disappoint, but we're going to go 60 minutes and you're going to get some substance here. So, we've started over the last couple of years with a pretty set framework for communicating back out to parents. In the fall, we do the listening tours. We really sit and listen, right? And those are divisionally based. Those are really our chances to hear from you as to things that are happening in your child's experience within those divisions. They're unscripted. So we really just want to get a tenor and a pulse for what's happening. The spring has really been about looking ahead, and it's really become our time to report back to you, most recently in these last 2 years, on the strategic vision. What we established was last year's purpose, and we laid out the 6 initiatives and the 2 capacity builders on facility and advancement for you. And now this focus is going to be on articulating for you what we've done in the last year. And next spring we'll take you the next year forward until this plan closes, probably in 18 to 24 months, and we move on to the next set of initiatives. So before I begin, I mean, it's important for me, I think, to just give a little bit of the narrative backbone to what you're going to be seeing today. And it really goes back into Parish's history just a bit into my arrival a couple of years ago, because I think that framework, is important to draw. When I arrived 2 years, 8 months ago and started officially, the school had gone through a phase, and a very significant phase, right? That last decade essentially was about expanding the school, trebling its size, adding a campus, retrofitting this space, 300,000 square feet of it, right? Graduating 6 classes, 10% of whom were first-gen kids. Things we're really proud of and really excited about. But boy, was it a big energy lift, right? And when I arrived to start here and to look at Parish, that really struck me. The audacity of this community, the boldness. What I saw as a real innovative spirit, a notion that collectively a group of parents and faculty and trustees and school leaders could really wrap arms around a significant challenge, embrace it, and then succeed in executing it really vividly and quickly. I was really fascinated by that when I thought about coming to potentially steward the school with the folks that were already here. And then when I visited that first time, I felt what you all feel and I think know about Parish, that authentic sense of place, right? That real community, that inclusiveness, the warmth, the hospitality. And I think as you watch what we're going to talk about today, you're going to see those 2 themes very much in place. They're the themes that brought me and attracted me to Parish as its leader. I think they're really key to who we are. And the reason we've been so successful in the strategic plan up to this point, I think, is because of the modulation of that community feel, that sense of togetherness and unity, and a real bold, innovative, agile, aspiring community that we have here, right? So think about those as I go through the plan with you today. This is the PowerPoint deck that I shared last March, updated, right? And so this was one of the slides that I had on last year. I really wanted to draw a distinction between what I do as head of school and what I'm talking about here and what Susie does in the lower school, or Jay in the middle school, or Michelle in the upper school, or Carl in visual performing arts, or Brad in athletics, right? My job working with the Board of Trustees is to move the school as an organization, right? Is to position it relative to its competition, is to define our areas of strength, to articulate to you all what makes Parish the right school for people who choose it, right? That's my purpose. So what I'm talking to you about here are really strategic things. These are big rocks, right? So if you want to hear about how we're incorporating the workshop model in lower school, or how the STEM block is working in detail in grades 3 and 4, or you want to hear about the evolution of the honor code in middle school, or dual credit in the upper school, these are all exciting programs. We're happy to talk about them, but those are what the coffees are for. The dialogue with Demarest, right? And Michelle's coffees and Jay's coffees. That's where they're going to dig in to those elements of program. So what I'm talking to you today about are really the big projects that were established in our strategic vision, Remarkable Realities, a committee of nearly 100 people, faculty, administrators, board members, parents, students, who got together a couple of years ago and said, what's going to move Parish? What's going to position Parish? And be aware of the fact that we're doing these things does not mean that we don't continue to advance our policies and procedures in athletics, or to build a strategic plan in visual performing arts, right? Those are all going on at present, right? They're not superseded by the fact that we have a bold and vivid strategic plan. So this process of building the strategic plan was built first after we did some self-assessment. After this big decade of creating Parish Episcopal, where do we see ourselves now? What was the best of Parish Day and Parish Episcopal that we'd like to buff up and extend in new forms into the future? And we had identified 4 principles that we felt were sort of extracted from our parish DNA, right? That if we continued to hone and polish, right, we could continue to position ourselves really effectively as Parish Episcopal. And those are the 4 words that I think you're gaining more and more familiarity with over these last couple of years. And what you're going to see in the initiatives is not that we have a set of integrity initiatives or innovation initiatives or preparation initiatives. Rather, it's a blending of these principles that created these 6 programmatic initiatives, right? So if last decade's work was about building a new school entity, right, we saw this vision cast as really then filling out that new program with a series of initiatives that would enrich it and continue to define it. And that's what you'll see as we go through. There are 6 programmatic initiatives and then 2 that we called capacity builders, really things that we needed to do to our facility and in terms of our capacity from a money and dollar sense to enable us to continue to work as a leading college preparatory independent school in the Episcopal framework. Okay? So I'm going to take you through each of these one by one. What you'll see on these slides in the red is what I had shared with you last year. I gave you a projection. I said next year at this time, this is what I expect you'll see. I also last year gave you in 3 years, this is what I expect you'll see, right? And so I've taken the 1-year clip, I put it back on these slides, and then below it in black, we've begun to articulate, or we'll articulate for you here on these slides, exactly what it is where we are now, all right? And I'll talk in a little bit of depth about these.